this hood release lever off, use a 8mm socket and take these two bolts out. Take those out, and then just take the handle and just put it to the side. Now we're going to take these push pins out, just use a trim tool, take the center part up, and then slide them out. There's a little bracket right there. You want to take those out as well. And grab the panel and just slide it up and out of the way. Now we're going to take these bolts out, use a 10mm socket, take these all out. We're going to take this panel off on the sides. You're going to need to use a 7mm socket. Take these bolts out. Both sides. Now I'm going to use a T30 socket. Take all the screws out. There's 3 in the back. And up in the front. And then it just slides forward a little bit and comes right down. Take these 3 screws out, use the same T30 socket. Using a 7mm socket, take these screws out. Set another one over here. And you can just grab this piece, pull it down. If you have to, you can use a trim tool. Just pull that down. Do the same on the other side. Down. And on the side here, take these out, use the 7mm socket. These 2 screws, one right here. Now take all these front screws out, use a 7mm socket. On the driver's side, you just want to pull this panel down a little bit, and you can access the connector. You want to disconnect that connector. That's for the wiring that goes to the bumper. Just push down on that, and then slide that off. That's going to stay with the vehicle. The rest of the harness will stay with the bumper. On the sides, we're going to take these screws out. Use a 7mm socket. Now we're going to take these push pins out. Just use a trim tool. And there's one underneath. Try to work that one out. Now I'm going to remove the wheel, use a 19mm socket. And take the wheel off. Now we're going to take a trim tool and take these clips out, or push pins. Take those out. Might have to use 2 trim tools. And pull those out. Now pull the inner fender well out. Kind of slide it in a little bit. Slides right out. Now we're going to take this panel off. There is clips on the back side of here. If you take a 8mm socket, just find where the clip is and just push it. That's going to squeeze the clip. Then you can release this. Just go all along. You might have to twist the socket a little bit. You can release all those clips without breaking them. Sometimes they do break, so. Now when you get to the front, this panel is clipped in, and you're going to need a straight blade screwdriver or a pocket screwdriver. And you just have to get on the other side of the clip and just press it in. And with a little bit of pressure, you should be able to pull this out. Just just like that. So this is what you're looking at, these clips. So you want to put a little pressure there and then slide these out. And you can disconnect this connector right here for the parking sensor and set that aside. I'm going to remove the wheel, use a 19mm socket, take the lug nuts off. Now there's 3 bolts we have to take out. Use a 10mm socket inside here. Take those out. Those out, and that's separated. Then there's these 2 clips. Just get on the other side of these with a pocket screwdriver. Slide those clips in. Just like that, just so this is separated like that. I'm going to do the same on the other side. Just grab the bumper right here. We're just gonna pull it up and outwards. There is a couple clips holding that in. Then go up top. Slide this pin off, and then this one as well. There's 2 clips right here. Just pop those down with a straight blade screwdriver. Let's grab the bumper cover, and it slides right out. Now I'm going to take a T30 socket, and we're going to take these screws out. There's one right here. Underneath here, there's one. On the side, there's one. And the last one's up top. Now right here, there's a push pin. Just use a trim tool. Get underneath there. That popped out, then just slide the light assembly forward. You can disconnect the connector. There's one right there. Push down on the tab, slide that off. There's another one right here. Push down, and it slides right off. There it is. Now take the light assembly, plug the connectors in, line that up, lock it down. Same with this one. Lock it in place. And slide that in position. There's a little pin right there. You want to slide that in. That goes in there. Now take the push pin, line that up, lock it down. Now get the screws started. Now with them all in, make sure the light's all the way back, and we can tighten these down. Just snug them down, not too tight. Now take the bumper cover and just be careful on the sides. You don't want to scratch anything. Just line it up in the center here. Get these pins on. That's good right there. You want to push that center in. Make sure these are all lined up. And that locks in. Now I'll put these bolts back in. Get them all started first. And tighten them down. Just snug. Now we're going to slide the inner fender well on first. Get it lined up. Take a couple of the push pins, and those are going to go right there. And back here. Another push pin right there. Just trying to get these to line up. Those look good. And then back here, there's one more. And that all lines up, that looks good. Now we're going to plug this sensor in first, right here. Lock that in place and line this up. Once that's lined up, snap it in. Now take these push pins, get those started. Right there, and then underneath. Now put these screws in, get these all started. And while we're here, we'll do these bottom screws as well. Might have to raise up that panel a little bit. And tighten these down. Now before we put the driver's side inner fender well on, it's a little bit easier to plug this connector in. So get that lined up underneath there. And plug that connector in. That's for all the electronics in the bumper. Now I'll put the inner fender well in here, just like we did on the passenger side. Up, get the push pins started. There. Now connect the connector for the side sensor. Push that wire back in place and line this up. Just don't clip it in until everything's lined up. Good. Now put the push pins in, lock those down. And this one down here, and then the other push pin underneath. And put the screws in on the other side. Get those all started. And I'm going to put the two down below as well, just while we're in here. And tighten them all down. Now put these screws in. Now we'll tighten these down. Now we're going to put these screws in. These forward 3 screws you want to put in, not the other ones. So start with those and just snug those down. Now I'll put this panel up, get this lined up front and in the back, and get those screws started. Make sure this panel goes above this panel. And then we'll get the front ones lined up. Get those started. Before we tighten those down, just put the small ones on the side, get those started. I'll just snug those smaller ones up on the side first. And now we'll tighten the rest of them. Now take these side panels, line these up. Get the 2 screws started. Tighten those down. And you can do the same on the other side. Now put the wheels on. Lug nuts. Now I'm going to torque the lug nuts to 100 foot-pounds in a star pattern to tighten the wheel down evenly. And just go around again, double check. Now put these bolts in, get these all started. And we'll tighten those down. Now put this cover on. And put the push pins in, lock them down. And put the release handle, get those screws started. And tighten these down.
This is going to be a general tutorial on how to aim your brand new TRQ headlamp assemblies. Okay, so looking at your brand new TRQ headlamp assembly, you're going to see where your low beam is, and you'll see a little dot right in the center. And that is the axis point, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to mark that with an erasable marker, just so it's easier to see. Next, what we need to do is measure from the level ground up to this point and take note of that measurement. Now we're just going to pull the car up to our wall. On our vehicle, we remember that the measurement was 28 inches for our access point. Your vehicle may be different, but that's where I'm going to put this tape, just above that 28 inches. We'll do the same on the other side. Okay, so let's just back the vehicle up, straight back 25 feet from the wall. And now that we moved our vehicle 25 feet back from the wall, we're going to start with our measurement here. That's where the headlamp center is. We're going to go down 4 inches on the driver's side. On the passenger side, we have our line here. What we need to do is go down 2 inches. To adjust the driver's side, we're going to cover our passenger side headlamp. If you look at the back side of your headlamp assembly, you're going to see something that looks like this. This is the adjustment. Some of these headlight assemblies have 1, 2, or even more of them, but you should at least have one. This is how we're going to adjust the headlight beam. Now we're going to lower the top part of the beam down to just below this line. When you turn the adjustment to the right, it brings the beam up, and if you turn it to the left, it'll bring the headlight beam down. And this is this way on most vehicles. Let's continue on to doing the passenger side. All right, we properly aligned our TRQ headlamp assemblies. Okay, and on the quality TRQ headlamps for a pickup truck, the procedure is going to be the same. You're going to find your center dot, mark it, and then you'll measure from the level ground up to your dot. So once your headlamps are properly adjusted, it'll be time to adjust your fog lamps. You'll notice on the driver's side, the focal point is all the way at the bottom right now. I would like to bring it up so it meets up with approximately the bottom of the focal point of the headlight. Some fog lamps have an adjuster, others don't. The ones that do have an adjuster, you would just turn the adjustment to the left or to the right to adjust the beam up and down to where it needs to be. Now with your TRQ headlamps and fog lamps properly aligned, you can drive down the road safely.